It's story time with Mrs. Elkins. Hi, boys and girls. It's me, Mrs. Elkins. I am bringing to you today a fun story. Bad Kitty, Scaredy Cat. I like the Bad Kitty series because he just looks so completely silly. This book is written by Nick Bruhl, and just looking at the back, I can tell you that there are quite a few books in this collection of Bad Kitty. They are AR books, and most of them are really funny. So let's get started with Bad Kitty, Scaredy Cat. Here we go. She wasn't always a scaredy cat. She used to be. Woof! Look at that. An angry kitty, a brave kitty, a clumsy kitty, a daring kitty, an energetic kitty, a fearless kitty. They're going by the letters of the alphabet. How cool! Gallant kitty, a heroic kitty, an inept kitty, a jumbled kitty, a kittenish kitty, meow, a loopy kitty, honk, a muddled kitty, woof. Oh, we have more. A numb kitty, an outraged kitty, a powerful kitty, a quick kitty, a resolute kitty, a strong kitty, a tough kitty, an upended kitty, a vexed kitty, a wet kitty, an exasperated kitty, a youthful kitty, and a zestful kitty. Well, I think that takes us to Z. But then, one dark and foggy night, something terrible happened. Ding dong! I think that's the doorbell. Out of the darkness and into her doorway appeared the most horrible and frightening creatures Kitty had ever seen. Trick or treat! Oh, I know what that is. She saw an awful alien, a bizarre Bigfoot, a creepy clown, a dreadful dragon. Oh my goodness, they're going through the alphabet again. How about that? An evil ectoplasm, a frightful Frankenstein, a ghastly goblin, a hideous hag. Look, he looks so scared there. He's going, ah! An intimidating invisible man, a jarring jack-o'-lantern, a killer kraken. That's like a big, scary octopus, if you've never heard of that before. A loathsome lion, a monstrous mummy, a noisy Neanderthal, an odious ogre, a putrid pirate. And I see because he's putrid, I see all the little lines like maybe he stinks. A quirky Quasimodo, a rusty robot, a scary skeleton. Ooh, a toxic tarantula. I don't like that one. Uncle Murray, hi, I ran out of candy. Can I borrow some? Oh my goodness. A vile vampire. A wicked werewolf. An extremely exotic X-ray creature. That's so cool. A yucky yeti and a zany zombie. He's my favorite because he makes me think of Plants vs. Zombies. I love that. That's how she became a scaredy cat. That's how she became just a very, very scared little kitty. Poor kitty, poor kitty. Look at her wait under the couch. She's so scared. But then, oops, I dropped my candy. That's when she saw it. She saw. Ooh, I think I know what she saw. Do you know what she saw? The alphabet again. Here we go. Apples, bubble gum, candy corn, dried fruit, English toffee, fudge, gumdrops, hard candy, Italian truffles, jelly beans, kiwi fruit, lollipops, marshmallows, necklaces, oranges, pretzels, quince candy, raisins, strawberry licorice, taffy, unsalted nuts, vanilla cookies, white chocolate, wax lips, yellow bananas, and zoo animal crackers. Look at all those goodies. I'd have to say my favorite in there would be the wax lips. I loved those when I was little. Hmm. Kitty decided there and then that she would not be a scared little kitty anymore. She decided she would be a bad kitty. But not just any bad kitty. She would be a very, very bad, bad, bad kitty. She. Hmm. Oh, here's our alphabet. I love it. Attacked the alien, battered Bigfoot, clobbered the clown, demolished the dragon, eradicated the ectoplasm, flattened Frankenstein. Frankenstein doesn't look too happy about that. Gnawed on the goblin, harassed the hag, injured the invisible man, jostled the jack-o'-lantern, whoa, kicked the kraken, lambasted the lion, mauled the mummy, oh no, nullified the Neanderthal, overturned the ogre, pinched the pirate, quashed Quasimodo, ruined the robot, smashed the skeleton, tackled the tarantula. I still don't like the tarantula. Upset Uncle Murray, vanquished the vampire, whacked the werewolf, extinguished the X-ray creature, yanked the Yeti, and zinged the zombie. I think that's a piece of the zombie's pants right there in the bad kitty's mouth. Hooray for Kitty! All by herself, Kitty managed to chase those horrible creatures back out into the night. Kitty decided there and then that she would never be a scaredy cat again. Look at all that candy. Woof! Oh dear. I think she's still a scaredy cat. What do you think? She jumped way up in the air, right? Never. Look at her just shaking. And that was the story Bad Kitty Scaredy Cat. I hope that you liked it. At the Old Haunted House by Helen Ketteman. Illustrated by Nate Ragg. At the Old Haunted House. At the old haunted house, in a room with no sun, lived a warty green witch and her wee witchy one. Spell! Cried the witch. Poof! Cried the one, and they both practiced spells in the room with no sun. At the old haunted house, where a cold draught blew, lived a big ma monster and her wee monsters too. Stir! Called the ma. We stir! Cried the two, and they whirred and they stirred while the cold draught blew. By the old haunted house, in the dead hollow tree, lived a scrawny black cat and her wee kittens three. Scratch! Cried the mother. Meow! Cried the three, and they scratched and they growled in the dead hollow tree. At the old haunted house with the squeaky old floor lived a green paw goblin and his wee goblins four. Dust! Cried the paw. We dust! Said the four, and they spread lots of dust on the old squeaky floor. At the old haunted house, where scary things jive, lived a ma werewolf and her wee werewolves five. How! Cried the ma. Ow! Cried the five, and they yowled and they howled where scary things jive. In the old haunted house in a vault made of bricks lived a papa vampire and his little vamps 6. "Show fangs!" papa cried. Hiss went the 6, and they snarled and they shrieked in the vault made of bricks. At the old haunted house, teaching a lesson, was a hairy mom bat, and her bitty bat 7. "Dip, dive!" cried the mom. Flip, flap went the 7, and they dipped and they dove in their dip diving lesson. By the old haunted house near the graveyard gate lived a spooky dad ghost and his wee ghosties 8. "Haunt!" cried the dad. "Boo!" cried the 8, and they booed and they floated through the graveyard gate. At the old haunted house, half covered with vines, lived a mummy mommy and her wee mummies 9. "Mix!" called the mommy. "Wee mix!" called the 9, and they stirred and they mixed in the house with the vines. At the old haunted house, in the dusty old den, lived a fat ma spider and her wee spiders 10. "Spin!" said the ma. "Heave ho!" said the 10, and they spun sticky webs in the dusty old den. At the old haunted house, the front door, Creaked. "Trick or treat!" yelled the children. The ghost shrieked, "Come in!" called Ma Mummy. The monsters made stew, the mummies made cake, the witches zapped brew. The creatures all grinned as they struck up the band, and the spiders all swung on sticky web strands. The ghosties floated as the music played, black cats scratched and werewolves bayed. The vampire band played music all night, and they all had fun at the Halloween fright. That's the end. Leo, a Ghost Story by Mac Barnett and illustrated by Christian Robinson. This is an AR level 2.9, and this is also from Epic, so you guys have access to this. This is Leo. Most people cannot see him. Do you see him? But you can. Leo is a ghost. I see him. For many years Leo lived by himself in a house on the edge of the city, reading books and drawing pictures in the dust. One day in spring, a family moved in. Leo was glad to have company. On the family's first night, he made them mint tea and honey toast. Leo thought he was being a good host, but the family saw things differently. Ooh. They hid in the bathroom and locked the door. "This house is haunted," said the man. "Gary, I'm scared," said the woman. "I hate tea," said the boy, "and I hate ghosts." Look at his grumpy little face. They did not know that Leo was floating above the tub. He heard everything they said. Oh. The family called in a scientist, a clergyman, and a psychic to get rid of the ghost. But they should have saved their money. Leo knew he was unwanted. He said goodbye to his home and left. "I have been a house ghost all my life," Leo thought. "Maybe I would like being a roaming ghost for a while." So Leo roamed. Leo saw the city and the people who lived there. Nobody saw Leo. The city was not like Leo remembered it. Some places were wonderful. Some places were scary. Everywhere it was noisy. Leo went to a street corner where his favorite candy store used to be. Now nothing was there. "Excuse me," he asked a police officer, "do you know where—" The officer walked right through him. There was an afternoon when Leo found himself roaming along a sidewalk covered in drawings. He came across a girl holding chalk in her hand. Look at those awesome drawings. I like the dragon. I like the dog on a horse, the sailboat. There's a castle. The girl looked up and stared straight at Leo. "I'm Jane," she said. "What's your name?" It was so strange to be looked at that at first Leo said nothing. Finally he replied, "I'm Leo." Jane nodded. "Leo, do you want to play Knights of the Round Table?" "Yes," Leo said, because he did. "Good," said Jane. "First you have to get knighted by the king." "Who's the king?" Leo asked. "I am," said Jane. "That's why I'm wearing this crown on my head." Leo looked at her head. He did not see a crown. Still, he kneeled down and was knighted on the spot. Leo and Jane sat at a table. "Sir Leo," said Jane, "meet Sir Ruffs, a loyal dog. Don't you think he looks handsome in armor?" "Yes," said Leo. He bowed at an empty chair. "And Sir Leo," said Jane, "this is Sir Muse, a loyal cat. Don't you find his whiskers wise looking?" "I do," said Leo. And he bowed again. "And finally," said Jane, "this is Sir Squawks." Leo interrupted. "A loyal bird?" Jane frowned. "No," she said. "Sir Squawks is a giant hamster." "Oh," said Leo. "Well, I'm not wearing my glasses." Jane squinted at the chair. "I guess," she said. "Jane!" A woman's voice came from another room. "Tell your imaginary friends goodbye and come to dinner." "Fine," said Jane. She turned to Leo. "My mom doesn't think imaginary friends are worthwhile, but I think you're great." And with that she stood up and went to the kitchen. Leo felt awful. "She thinks I'm imaginary," he thought. "If I tell her I'm a ghost, I will scare her away." After dinner Jane returned to her room and gave Leo a sword. They snuck into a cave, slew a dragon, and stole all his loot. When Leo closed his eyes he could almost see the gold coins and green scales. After a glorious feast it was time for bed. Jane gave Leo a pillow and a sheet. "Don't tell Sir Ruffs," she said, "but you are my best imaginary friend." "Yes," said Leo. He was so happy he couldn't sleep. Leo went to the living room so he wouldn't wake Jane with his rustling. All night he lay on the floor designing his coat of arms. And so Leo was awake when a sneak thief climbed through the window. "Halt!" cried Leo, but the thief passed through him on his way to the silverware. Later Leo would not be able to say where the idea came from. He threw the bedsheet over himself and flew at the thief, who was so frightened he dropped all the salad forks. Leo chased the man into a closet and then slammed the door shut and locked him inside. It was very well done. The sound of the door woke Jane, who called the police and roused her mother. A squad car came and hauled the man off to jail. That was that. Oh, I see him in the back of the car. He looks very unhappy. And look up here. Look who looks so very happy. "Thanks," said Jane. "You're welcome," said Leo. "I'm glad I could help." "But Leo," said Jane, "if you're my imaginary friend, how did you scare that robber?" Leo looked down at the carpet. "Jane, I told you a lie. I am a ghost. I said I was your imaginary friend, but I'm not. I am just your real friend." "Oh," said Jane, "well, that's even better." And they went to the kitchen to have mint tea and honey toast at midnight. Smelly Ghost by Isabel Atherton, illustrated by Bethany Strucker. This is not an AR book, but I thought that this was a fun story we could hear. Smelly Ghost. And this says, Welcome to Spooky Town. Smelly Ghost was very lonely. Oh my goodness, look at the teeth on the duck. That's kind of spooky in itself. None of the ghosts, ghouls, skeletons, and scary creatures in Spooky Town wanted to play with him. Wow, look at all those things. Hmm. The problem was that he liked to eat scary junk food. He would go to the Screama Market and munch his way through terrifying treats. Hmm, I see ghoul burgers, bone chips, chocolate toes and fingers, eyeball pizza, slime cookies, beetle's blood ice cream, fizzy snot soda. Yuck! Scary junk food was having a very bad effect on his tummy. It would rumble loudly and make his ghostly bottom would make unpleasant sounds. Toot, toot. These sounds went toot, 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 toot. It was noisy and smelly, so the skeletons, pumpkin heads, and scary creatures stayed away. One day Smelly Ghost was feeling sad, so he went to the Screama Market and ate 10 eyeball pizzas and 15 swampy ooze cakes. He sat sobbing as his tummy ached and the toots noisily came out. Looks like he did eat so much food there. Janice, the mummy cleaner, heard Smelly Ghost's sobs. She could smell the stinky toots, but what still stopped to ask what was making him so unhappy. Smelly Ghost said he was lonely as he had no friends and couldn't understand why. Janice looked at all the empty eyeball pizza boxes and the crumbs of swampy ooze cakes littered around him. I think I know why the other scary creatures won't play with you. Do you ever eat creepy vegetables and spine-chilling fruit? Asked Janice. No, Smelly Ghost said, shaking his ghostly head sadly. If you ate your creepy vegetables, you wouldn't have a tummy ache and the toots would go away. Why don't you stop eating scary junk food for a few days and see how you feel? Creepy vegetables will have you happy in no time at all, said Janice. Smelly Ghost decided to put his spooky healthy eating plan into action. Ooh, those do look like some spooky vegetables, my goodness. He crunched on ghoul carrots, nibbled on devil nuts, savored slime bananas, and devoured bat apples. Apples are my favorite. He began to feel more energetic and he was able to float higher and faster. Wow, it looks like he's really high. He's looking way down on the ground there. The other scary things started to creep toward Smelly Ghost, as he no longer gave off a rotten smell. Aww. Smelly Ghost realized that Janice was right. Not only did he feel better about himself, but he also began to make friends with the other scary creatures. Today, Smelly Ghost is happy and can often be spotted playing hide and seek with his spooky friends, which is quite easy when you're a ghost. The end. I hope that you liked it. This is almost done. Remember, we're in epic. So we'll finish the book. Peanut Butter and Jelly Brains, a zombie culinary tale. This book is an AR book. It is a level 3.9. And I know that's a little high, but I picked it out because it was a funny story. Reginald was not like the other zombies. The other zombies wanted brains for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but not Reginald. All Reginald wanted was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Brains, moaned the zombie horde, shuffling through the streets of Corkville. Wherever the zombies went, people ran, screaming in fear. Nobody wanted their brains eaten, not for breakfast, not for lunch, not even for dinner. Reginald didn't shuffle with them. His stomach rumbled and growled, and all he could do was dream about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Sweet jelly, moaned Reginald. Sticky peanut butter. No brains? The other zombies asked. No brains, said Reginald. Peanut butter and jelly. The other zombies shook their heads. If you tried peanut butter and jelly, said Reginald, you'd never want brains again. But the zombies just shambled off. Reginald went to the corner cafe and tried to order a sandwich, but the man behind the counter shook his head and pointed to a sign. It says, "No zombies allowed." Aw, Reginald looked sad. He tried the school cafeteria, but the lunch lady slapped a hunk of meatloaf on his tray instead. It looked an awful lot like brains. Reginald even tried Oscar's grocery, but when Oscar rang up the loaf of bread, the peanut butter, and the strawberry jelly, Reginald couldn't pay. "Sorry," said Oscar, "paying customers only." Reginald left the store and his groceries behind. Oh, he looked so sad right there. Across the street stood a little Abigail Zink, the smartest girl in Quirkville. She carried a lunch bag in her hand, and I can tell what he thinks is in that bag. Reginald recognized the familiar jelly stain that was seeping through the paper bag. "Peanut butter and jelly," he moaned. The zombie horde shuffled and shambled around the corner. "Brains," they moaned, licking their lips at the sight of little Abigail Zink. The townspeople froze in their tracks, including the mayor and his prancing poodle. Suddenly little Abigail Zink dropped the bag, holding her peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Reginald lurched forward and seized it. He raised the jelly-stained bag to his lips. He could practically taste the delicious sticky peanut butter and sweet strawberry jelly. Little Abigail Zink let out a shriek. The mayor's poodle yipped and yapped, and the townspeople all screamed, "Ah!" If the other zombies could just smell the peanut butter, Reginald thought. If they could just taste the sweet jelly. "Brains!" cried Reginald, holding up the peanut butter jelly sandwich. "Brains!" moaned the zombies, reaching for the sandwich. Reginald threw it into the crowd of drooling zombies. Oh my goodness, I think Reginald's trying to trick them. Do you think it's gonna work? When the zombies tore into the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, their eyes lit up. "Not brains?" they said, licking their lips. "Yummy! Better than brains!" The zombies rubbed their bellies, and the townspeople smiled. "Why, they were just hungry," declared the mayor, "and a peanut butter and jelly does the trick." Aw, they all looked so happy. Peanut butter and jelly did do the trick. The zombies no longer wanted brains, and the townspeople were no longer afraid of the zombies. Soon the zombies were a regular part of Courtville. They collected the garbage, walked dogs, and swept the streets. They were happy to help and even happier to be paid in peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But Reginald still wasn't like the other zombies, because while they were enjoying their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Reginald had moved on to, I wonder what he wants now. Pizza! That's the end. I hope that you liked the story. Boys and girls, I hope that you enjoyed those stories. And in the meantime, go take a wiggle break, get some water, and have a fantastic day of learning. I'll see you next week.